You know, one of the nice things about being an adult is if you want to, you can always eat dessert first. Yes. And that's what we're going to do today. Richmond-based baker Leanne Fletcher is here today to pass along her quick and easy recipe for key lime pie. And we could say this is green, so we're starting our St. Patty's Day a little bit early. Anyway, key lime pie is a favorite for a lot of people. It's so refreshing and it's really easy to make, isn't it?
It is refreshing, and like you said, it is really, really easy to make. It seems like once it's done that it's a pie that maybe will take a really long time or lots of ingredients, but today we will see it is not a lot at all.
And it doesn't last long either, does it?
It doesn't, it doesn't.
Let's first talk about key lime pie, because key lime is actually a type of lime.
It is a type of lime, so when you're doing this recipe, you cannot sub out a regular lime. Mm-hmm. You need to use key limes. I started this recipe about 7 years ago when I had to do a whole lot of desserts for about 300 desserts over a period of a week. So I said, what can I make quick, put in the oven or put in the refrigerator and get it out? And this was one of them. At that time, I was actually getting the key limes.
And juicing those tiny little limes?
Cutting them, slicing them, and then I found a great new thing.
It comes in a bottle.
It comes in a bottle.
And it's delicious.
It is delicious. So a very simple recipe, and we can get started.
Okay, let's get started.
So 2 parts for this. I like to make my own Cool Whip, but if not, you can cheat.
Your own whipped cream.
My own whipped cream.
Yeah.
But to make the pie first, we're going to start with our sweetened condensed milk. That's the first thing to put in.
And the key is making sure that you get the sweetened condensed milk, not evaporated milk.
Yes, not evaporated milk at all. I'm going to take this spoon so we can
get every little bit out of there.
And about 16 ounces. Right now, the recipes, when they come from the store, they're about 14 ounces. So usually what I'll try to do is try to double the recipe. Then that way we can just use 3 of the cans all together. And then just have your 2 pie crust for it. So we'll have that in there.
All the good sweetness.
All the good sweetness. And this, I like to blend this up. For TV's sake, it probably won't be as much, but the more you blend it, the fluffier it's going to get.
Oh, okay.
If you just do this one quickly, then it will not rise as much in there.
And the nice thing about key lime pie is the texture. It's so smooth and just so decadent.
It is extremely smooth, and it's dense too. So we have bigger pieces here. You can cut them smaller.
Oh, those aren't big pieces. What's wrong with you?
You can cut them smaller if you need to.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cheesecake in that you don't need a really big piece of it to make it work.
You don't. And you can make these in little smaller pans if you wanted to, like little mini ones.
Oh yeah, mini tarts for everybody.
Absolutely.
We can already see this is starting to get more volume in it because I guess you're whipping air into it.
It is. So the longer you whip it, the better it will be as far as the height. So in that, we're going to slowly add in your 4 egg yolks for it.
And just the yolks?
Just the yolks. No whites at all in this recipe.
Now, is this a pie that's going to bake?
It will bake. But, again, it's not going to bake as long for it.
Because I have seen key lime pie recipes that don't bake.
And that's just the ingredients that's in there. With this one we do, but it's only like 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad
for it at all. So we'll get that then. After that, you're going to slowly add in your key lime juice. And that's why we do it slowly.
And that's where the top comes in too on the blender. You could actually just pop the top out.
Pop the top out and put it in there. And then
there you go.
Get that going in. And once this is all blended together, once it's all blended together, we can put it in the pie crust now.
So that's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Now again, we would blend it a little bit longer for that. But once that is blended all together, you can do...
So you want to keep that blending while you start the...
I can.
Yeah. So
let's do that. Awesome. So we'll get that one done.
Talk a little louder. Let that do what it needs to do.
Cool Whip, whipped cream. It's very simple. It's not a lot of ingredients. You're going to take and pour in your heavy cream.
And the key to this is having all these ingredients really cold.
Really extremely cold. A lot of times when you're baking, it's a room temperature egg or room temperature milk. With these, it's extremely cold. Sometimes it actually even helps to put the bowl in the freezer.
And you don't want any water in there at all.
No.
So no condensation on the bowl.
None at all. So if you can get that bowl in the freezer and get it extremely cold, or even the beater, then that's good. And this is going to whip until it almost is that consistency of your whipped cream.
Like a meringue.
Yep.
Whipped cream, yeah. And you're adding some sugar to that.
And we have about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half, basically depending on.
I'm gonna turn that off.
And that should be good to go.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll let that whip up, and while we're letting that whip up, we can go and pour the pie crust in there. Just twist it. There we go. Now, I prefer mine with chocolate. A nice Oreo crust is delicious with this. But if you want to do the traditional one, then you can.
Right.
You can do the traditional kind.
And you've got one in the oven that you actually, instead of putting in a regular pie tin, you put in a springform pan.
You can put it in a springform pan. So whatever you have at home, even if it's an 8.5 by 11 pan, and you do your own crust, you can put it in there. That's whipping up nicely. And we'll just add in just a little bit of vanilla for flavor.
We're just about out of
All
time.
right.
So what do you want to do for us here?
So
What do you
for
want
this
to finish
one,
off?
again,
That
we're
one?
just putting this in.
Okay.
About
and
15
you said about 15 minutes. What's the oven on? 350?
Actually, this one is a little bit lower, so we're going to do about 325 or 300 if you can. And then
Pop it out.
pops it out.
Oh, look at that.
And
Isn't
that's
that
what we
pretty?
look.
Now this wouldn't bake like this in a springform
No,
pan.
no,
It would be
no.
a little bit different.
A little bit different
A little
with
bit
it.
fancier. You could put your chocolate crust in there and
Absolutely.
make that. And look at that whipped cream already.
Then put your piece of whipped cream on top.
That
Put a
looks
piece
delicious.
of key lime on there, little shavings. and
We're
you're
good to go. Simple
Absolutely.
as pie.
It is.